Hi, I'm Rajiv, and today I am doing the thing that is my favorite thing to do, and this is the place that I've wanted to come to for over 20 years, the Brimfield Outdoor Antique Show. Its 65th anniversary today. Oh, all the good things there in the city, yeah.
Well, that was on brand.
I'm here with Kate Corriveau, who is the co-owner of Brimfield Auction Acres, where the Brimfield Show has been taking place since
1959.
1959. So this is the 65th
Anniversary. Yes.
This is the biggest,
All outdoor antique show in the country.
and I've been hearing about this show since I was a teenager. It is kind of the destination for people that love doing this, that love looking for treasure. You will find stuff that you're interested in, right?
And stuff you weren't looking for that you must have.
How did this start?
So actually in the barn here, the owner, Gordon Reed, he was an auctioneer by trade.
Okay.
And he envisioned his field becoming the greatest outdoor antique show under the sun. Kind of stole the name from Barnum and Bailey and was going to go with that. And in his lifetime, not only did it come to fruition, but he had a 2-year waiting list, like 700 dealers on this field. It's about 30 acres or so. And then the field next to him said, you don't have to wait, we'll do one. And then the next field and next field. And that's what makes it so amazing. It's not just Auction Acres, but it's made up of about 20 other individual shows, individual fields that are open all week long. The vendors alone are about 3,000 or more, and then the shoppers that are coming in different days and what have you, the estimates have been about 50,000 people.
Wow. I know in the late 50s, early 60s, there was this real revival and appreciation for genuine early American antiques. That was like one of those eras where stuff started to be recognized for its cultural, historic value. The prices of things skyrocketed, early American furniture in its original paint, and there have been these sort of dips between it being in vogue and then young people not really knowing what it is. I feel like we're at another place right now where young people they really weren't familiar with the stuff that their parents maybe put in their homes, and now they're intrigued.
Yes.
What would you say to young people that are intrigued by antiques but have no idea how to enter into this world?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think the most thing is for them to come and have fun. Right now, as you are, I'm sure you're well aware, that vintage clothing is all the rage. We have, and the fields do have a lot of vintage throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
And so they can start there, and then as they walk through these other booths, they'll just start to appreciate these things of beauty that you won't see in a box store.
Yeah.
And you can hold them and touch them, and then you'll leave with something that you found at Brimfield, and that's always someone's notch mark. They love to say, I got this at Brimfield, and they'll just gradually be educated on some beautiful things and find something in their price range if they're a small family, young family starting out, or if they're now trying to build their nest and just add really interesting pieces to their house.
Yeah, that's wonderful advice. It is a huge honor. Like, I just can't believe I'm actually here, and I am so looking forward to looking for stuff. So, I gotta get going to look at treasure, but before I do, I wanna give you some tips about what to do if you're coming to something like this. Come prepared. Wear good shoes, wear a hat. I have a hat in here, preferably a big hat. Bring a little raincoat if it's gonna rain, but this is kind of the thing that I prep before I come here. Bring a bag that you can put over your shoulder. In your bag, you should have another bag. And I have like a bag that is big. Like, it looks small, but it fits a lot of stuff. Because at the end of the day, I do envision walking around like this or walking around like this, hopefully, if things go good. And maybe some things will be shipped back to New York in a truck, who knows. The second thing, sunscreen. Bring some sunscreen, sunglasses. Get a water bottle, bring a water bottle. I have a measuring tape. I always bring a measuring tape with me. This is actually connected to the next thing that I bring with me, which is actually in my head. A small list of things that I'm actually looking for. Now, at a huge show like this, I'm gonna find so many things that I didn't expect to want or like. That's kind of the fun. But those few items in my head, like I'll tell you what they are right now. I need a wicker basket. I need a wicker laundry basket because the one I have at home, which is from like 1910, is all breaking and falling apart. I would like to replace that. I need a harp stool. I now have a traveling harp, and I need a stool that's the right height. So I actually measured, and the stool needs to be 18 inches high. So that's what this is for. There was one more thing that I need. I need something to hold my paintbrushes, and I would ideally like to find something that's older or vintage. So those are the three things that I have in my head, and now, just get to work. So one of the things that I love to do when I'm at a show like this is actually look at tools. Almost everybody ends up at some point needing a hammer, and what most people do is they go out to their nearest hardware store and they buy a hammer, and it is an ugly, ubiquitous hammer made by someone who is making 10,000 hammers who doesn't care anything about hammers. What I say is use this opportunity to either replace the hammer you have at home, or if you don't have a hammer, buy it here. Look at this box of hammers over here. Look at how beautiful these are. This is a beautiful tool that you will have in your toolbox, and it's so much nicer than something that you buy when you're in a rush because you need a hammer and you just run out of the house to go get a hammer. Hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches, balls, all that kind of stuff you can find at a place like this. Sometimes I get asked, how do you know how to do this? And that's often a very hard question for me to answer, but specifically I have an example here. So I've been painting signs, and I've been painting signs that look like old signs. And one of the ways that over the years you learn about things is by actually looking at original source material. Now this is not always easy to find, but for me, when I'm painting a new sign, I think about how they would have done it in the 1800s or in the early 1900s, and I think back to the times when I've actually seen genuinely painted signs from that era. And right here, we have an example of signs that are not behind glass, that are not in a museum, that are not hung up on a wall or inaccessible, but where I could actually get right down to them and look at them up close, and I could actually analyze like the brush strokes and to see that this was done in one color and then outlined in another color. And the great thing about this is you can pick the stuff up, and you can actually not only look at the front, but you can look at the back, and you're informed to how a sign was actually built and put together. And this will go in here, and it will really help me for the next time that I'm painting a sign. This is not just about buying things. This is also about seeing wonderful old things and learning. And then often also to talk to the dealers who are experts in this genre. Like I could go up to them and talk about old signs, and I'd probably learn a bunch of stuff that I didn't know. I love old baskets, woven baskets, wicker, splint baskets like this. These were the sorts of things that were used in the place of cardboard or plastic in the 19th century or early 1900s. It was common to carry things around in baskets. And I always think that these things are so beautifully made. You'll find baskets in all different shapes and sizes, and you can easily clean these up. You can turn this from looking like this by just washing it with Murphy's oil soap and oiling it with a mix of linseed oil and turpentine, and you can make it look like this. Another little tip, like when you're shopping for stuff like this and you're outside, smell the things. Like open them up and smell what it's like inside, because you're going to take this home, and often when you're inside at home, sometimes you discover a smell. You're like, oh, I didn't notice the smell when I was looking at it outside. So that's a little tip, and I always do that. Not just with a basket, but especially with any kind of textile, anything that can absorb a smell. This is a brass candle holder, and it has this, so you'd put the candle in here, and as it burns down to the stub, you could raise it up so that you get right to the very end. Another thing that I pack in this bag or some kind of wet wipes. I'm touching things all day, and I don't want to be afraid of having to really get my hands into a pile of rusty iron tools to find that perfect thing, which I have done many times. And at the end of that, my hands are covered in rust. And then you're like, now what do I do? You can't handle someone's beautiful linen textiles with rusty hands. So, see, you're talking to a very seasoned pro. So this is an old level. Look at how, like, it's broken, but it has its little shaft there with the liquid in it. And what I think of when I look at something like this is, compare this to a level today. A level today is not a beautiful thing. And look at this level. They didn't have to put all this filigree work in here, but they did. They made a conscious effort to take something that was a completely utilitarian tool and make it beautiful. And when it's sitting off to the side, like, it's a beautiful thing. And what I always ask is, what happened? What happened? Where did we go wrong? How much do you want for this?
Everything on the table is all the same price.
Okay.
It's all 10 each.
Yeah?
3 for 25.
Wow. I'll take this, please.
We wrap it for you.
Thank you. So the great thing is that you don't really have to bring like bubble wrap or paper, because usually the dealers that are selling things that are fragile, they'll have newspaper and they'll wrap it for you.
I have to ask, you aren't buying it for a dog, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
That would be cruel and unusual punishment.
I have one at home that says dog.
Oh.
And these are made in Roseville, Ohio.
Yes.
And I knew that they made both the dog and the kitty,
Yeah.
but I've never seen a kitty. There's something that's so cute about it.
Yeah, and it's actually stamped on the bottom.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
This is made by the Robinson Ransbottom Company, which is a pottery that goes back to the early 1800s in Roseville, Ohio. And the cat one says kitty, which is so
There you
adorable.
go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Doorknob, antique doorknob. So in my apartment is from 1923, but when I moved in, all the doorknobs on the old doors had been replaced with ugly, fake brass. They're hollow, lifeless. So I gradually went around from door to door in my apartment and replaced all the new doorknobs with old doorknobs. And I have to say that this is something that a lot of people don't think about. A doorknob is something you touch multiple times a day, every single day. And you might think it's just a doorknob, but changing doorknobs to beautiful versions and versions that are substantial, that feel good when you're holding them, that is a tiny, tiny, tiny minuscule moment of every day in your life where you're adding value to a seemingly ubiquitous, ordinary moment that otherwise is meaningless. But you do this, you take the effort to find a beautiful old doorknob and to actually put this into a door in your home, and it's life-changing. Like, this is so nice. It's glass. And there's a little rosette detail. The back of it has been silvered, so it creates a kind of mirrored effect. Here is an Ironstone coffee pot with a lid. It's in excellent condition. It looks like it has never been used. So what I always do when I'm looking at a coffee pot or a teapot is I look on the inside. It's so clean, and I can just tell, because I've looked at this so much, that hasn't been used. Usually there's chips along here or here. Nothing is chipped. And this is the place that's really prone to chipping. The very edge of the spout, because it's so thin. And it bangs up against things, and these are always chipped here, and this one is not chipped. And this was made by one of my favorite Ironstone makers, T&R Boot, B-O-O-T-E. There's the stamp right there. And this pot is a great price at $35. So here's the thing, when you're looking for something specific, there are booths at shows like this where they just specialize in Ironstone, where almost everything in the booth would be Ironstone. But if you go to a booth like that, you're often going to pay for the curated aspect of just that booth. Whereas if you're looking around, you might come into a booth like this where there's all kinds of different things, and you might find something that's potential for a curated booth, but it's a great price and it's beautiful, so this is coming home to New York. Ironstone. Someone has a problem with Ironstone. Who needs to buy it? Sometimes, like at the end of the day, or you need to move from one place to the other, I do my bat out of hell walk. Which is, oh, I see something. Oh my God, look at this. Is this Staffordshire?
No, it's Italian.
Oh, it's nice.
It is nice.
The time for leisure is over. Now it's like serious work time. So you're here with me, but I can't talk to you very much because I need to scout. I need to make sure I'm not missing any key things before we go home. Staffordshire. And how much is he? Would you take 60 for both?
2 for 60, have a 65.
Okay, done. So the thing about Staffordshire, and this is what you need to know, there's a lot of fake Staffordshire that isn't actually 19th century. Stuff that was made in the 50s and then in the 80s, overseas. I need a wicker basket for my laundry. Still need to find a wicker basket.
Tell me how much you want to pay.
You have any wicker baskets? Wicker laundry baskets?
You gotta come earlier in the day.
Damn, did you sell them?
You gotta come earlier in the day. We got the good stuff.
Oh no. Ironstone. So this is exactly what I was talking about. This booth has a lot of Ironstone. So they specialize in Ironstone. Let's go look. I'm overwhelmed. Is this your stuff? I love Ironstone. We were supposed to rush out and I was like, I just have to scan. And now there's gonna be a bit of a problem. Oh lordy. Okay, I am genuinely overwhelmed. This is the magic of coming to a show like this. You don't know what you're gonna find. And I just stumbled at the very end into a booth that specializes in Ironstone, which I've been collecting since I was a teenager. Buying one piece here and there, putting it under my bed, and dreaming of the time that I had my own apartment when I could fill it with Ironstone, which I now have. So I am finding things here, shapes that I've never even seen before. And that's the thrill. And the stuff is priced like incredibly well. Look at these punch cups, like beautiful, in mint condition, Ironstone, and they're $10. Those are gonna come home. So Ironstone was made in England for the export market. It was made in England out of a very durable material to be sent to America and the colonies for use in rural areas where it could be purchased inexpensively and it wouldn't break easily. It wasn't very delicate. That's why it's called an Ironstone. So I just find that the simplicity of this stuff is what makes it beautiful. Simple white color, but the forms are so elegantly designed. Okay, I'm gonna do some shopping. You can just watch. This is the sort of place where everything's, like all these chairs don't have seats on them, but, you know, like I'm looking for a harp stool. I know in my head I'm probably going to have it reupholstered. So I'm not looking for something that's finished and beautiful. What I'm looking for is the frame. I'm looking for the actual wooden part of the stool because I will take it to my upholsterer and they'll make a seat for it. I have done some caning before. This is a chair. All these holes are the holes that are there for caning. This chair would have originally been caned. That's why, like, when you're walking around, don't dismiss stuff as junk because it's not in its final state. These chairs are $10. I see some Yellowware. Oh, Yellowware. I just love this stuff. This is Yellowware Pottery, made in Ohio, mid-1800s all the way up until the 1920s and 30s. It's iconically American, and I just think the shape of these bowls are so classically beautiful. Look at this nice little plate. These are not common. I never see these. And the first time I saw one of these Yellowware pie plates, it was $50 and I bought it. And I'm curious to know how much this is. So I'm gonna set this aside and this is going in my maybe take home pile. Look at this little, look at this nice little bowl. You see, like that right there, that was like an error in the manufacturing. And then the person making it or the supervisor or whatever was like, good enough, move on. The striping wasn't right. It's fine, move on, make the next bowl. And then this went through the glazing process, it went through the firing process, but I actually love this because of this, because of the boo-boo. You know, this is when this sort of thing becomes a problem. It's a very good thing I have a storage locker. Well, that was an exciting day at Brimfield, which is now coming to an end. Everyone is going home. What did we learn? Well, we learned that people pack up and head out pretty early. Because the dealer's actually set up before the sun has risen, they start packing up mid-afternoon. So if you want a deal, come later, wait till they're starting to pack up and then start looking around if you don't really care what you're looking at. But if you're looking for specific things, a tip is to come early. Often these fields open at sunrise, so come really early and be part of the crowd rushing in the morning. What else have we learned? We learned that cash is really what you should be bringing with you, because a lot of the dealers only take cash. A lot of them have technology set up to take a card, but the reception is shoddy. So they're waiting, they're trying to get reception, and then sometimes it just doesn't work. A second good option after cash is bringing a check. A lot of dealers will take a check. And the third tip that we can give you is prepare for all kinds of weather. If it's rainy, it might actually work in your favor because you might get a better deal if there aren't a lot of people here because it's rainy. But if it's hot and sunny like today, wear layers. Because in the morning it's kind of chilly, and then throughout the day it started to get hotter and hotter, and I started taking those layers off, baby. Well, that's all there is. There is no more. Thank you for coming along for my very first trip to Brimfield, which has been a wonderful experience. I've wanted to do this for a long, long, long time. I'm glad that it has now been documented and that you got to see how it all played out. So from my Staffordshire sheep and me, I wish you farewell. There will be information in the description of this video that will fill you in on all the specifics about Brimfield. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. There she goes again, buying all the Staffordshire